3, go. Wow.
Wow.
Anyway,
Don't
so
start with me.
hi everyone. This is
I was gonna
Chewing Pets podcast.
You know what? Don't cut me off. I want to talk.
Go
I am
on.
an adult, and I would like to explain. I was initially gonna do a really high-pitched scream, but then it just didn't come out, so I just went with whatever came next. And then I was scared I was gonna scare somebody in my apartment building.
So welcome to the Chewing Pets podcast. Brittany.
I'm Jen.
And this is book club week.
Woo! With Carl and not Carl.
And my highlighters.
She's lame.
Without
she doesn't
names.
name her highlighters.
No, but I named my backpacks, so...
I haven't done that. One of my backpacks was named Edgar. He was my backpack in high school. It was a Harry Potter backpack that I had like a while ago.
Mine was Joey.
My boyfriend's name is Joey.
I know. Anyway,
moving on.
This week's book is...
Wait. The Night Circus! I was not prepared for this introduction.
Carl got in the way.
Like, literally, I just like, oh, fuck.
Anyway, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern.
Oh, isn't it pretty and shiny, and it has this extra page thing where there's a hand, and it's, oh my god.
So we're gonna split the show into 2 portions.
We're just a wreck today.
Oh. Anyway, we're gonna split it into 2 portions. We're gonna have a non-spoiler portion in the beginning, and then spoilers later. My phone.
The one time you're popular and we're recording.
I know. Anyway. So, shall we begin with the non-spoiler section of the book clubness?
Oh my god! Yes!
Okay. So, what was your reaction to the book?
I loved it. That's a good way to describe it. I just got really into it. Like, it took me a while to get, because there's like a whole bunch of backstory that goes into everything. So it took me like a bit of time, but then like it starts getting into like the magic of it, and then like there's like people who want to kill other people, and it's just like it just gets so intense, and then you just feel emotions, and you just want things to happen, and you want like the author sets up like the questions that you end up having, like the questions of like the climax and then what the resolution will be. She has a good way of like making those questions like infest deeply into your body, and you just want to know the answers because the answer could be anything because it's magical.
Yeah.
It's hard to come up with a reasonable explanation when there's magic everywhere. So yeah, I liked it.
So that was your reaction.
Yes, that was my exact reaction.
Okay.
What was yours?
I'm still processing because I just finished it like a couple hours ago. But
Shame.
my reaction was one of deep satisfaction and sadness at the same time.
Yes.
Which is very hard to pull off, and I thought was very impressive.
Yes. I agree.
Because the way that it's set up with all the backstory and stuff, and it's not in order, and the dates confused me so much at first.
At some point, I just started actually keeping an eye on the years and the dates, because I was like, okay,
you have to.
Yeah, like because like in the beginning, I didn't care enough, but then because at some point you start to realize that everything's out of order and everything, like you start to realize like something happens in one chapter, and you're like, oh well, that's intense, and then like the setup for it happens like 2 chapters later. And
Yeah.
When did this happen? And so then your mind is like, I need to know all of the times and all the dates. I need to understand. I need to lay it out, the clear timeline.
I know, especially with Bailey's timeline, because it's suddenly so far in the future.
Mm-hmm. Because initially, I had no idea who the girl was, and I was trying to figure out who the little girl was that Bailey sees in the circus. And I was like, who the crap is that? Because this, like, him meeting her happens before the first opening of the circus.
Yeah.
You don't know about the Murray twins. You're just like, who is this chick? Who has red hair?
What is happening right now? But yeah. So yeah, that was my reaction. It was really good, but it's still like, oh.
Still really sad. Like, it's really happy.
Everything
really
kind of worked out, but it's still
really sad.
Oh.
I guess that's how this is ending.
So yeah, that was our reactions.
Yay, reactions. I was scared at some point, because probably because I've been reading too much Rochelle Mead and she ends every book on a cliffhanger, that at some point like it was gonna end on a massive cliffhanger and there's actually a second book that isn't released yet because she's taking her time on it or something. And I'm just like, and I was panicking at that point, and I was like, there better not be like a cliffhanger, like, because when it was getting to the really intense part where like all the crap was happening, I was like, this ends with a cliffhanger. I swear to God. I don't need this right now. Another book that's ended on a cliffhanger, and I can't deal with that. Edit this one as well. Anyway, questions. It's the questions, right? Questions.
You
Hi.
ready? Okay, first question. Well, who is your favorite character and why?
You should go first, since you have a clear idea of who your favorite character is. I still have issues trying to figure out which one I like the most.
Mine was Celia.
Of course. I might pick her too, because
she's amazing.
She's just all of her dialogue was just so great, because
she's
like
so
she's
smart,
really,
and she's so pretty, and she's so magical. They're just like
pretty ball gowns, and she reads. Like,
she has every single Shakespeare book.
Yeah, that was great. No, one of my favorite things about her was her dialogue, because like you didn't, from the beginning setup, you didn't think Celia would be like the way she was, but she's so witty and she snaps back so fast, and it's
flirty and just so funny.
It's just so great. Like I said, I really like Tsukiko too as well, though, because what a twist at the end to learn about Tsukiko's backstory. But I also really like her because, like, she's all mysterious and, like, strange, and she was a contortionist, and she's cool.
And I thought it was, I mean, I knew there was some sort of connection between her and Marco because of her tattoo.
Right.
And I was like, huh?
Which tattoo? I'm trying to remember.
Her tattoo?
I finished the book a long time ago.
Just a couple days ago.
It's a long time.
It was like it was a bunch of words and stuff, but it looked like a tree.
Oh, that's right. I don't know why.
Like with Marco's notebook.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that just totally just blinked.
And I was like, at first I was like, is she actually Celia? Like, what's going on here?
Anytime Marco was introduced to a girl, I was like, is that actually Celia?
I know. I was hoping Isabel was her.
Yeah, that's what I was like, because when there's that line where like when she introduces her name, and like his like inner monologue is like, she said it as if it didn't quite fit her, and it wasn't actually her name. So I was like, maybe it's Celia, and she's using a different name because her father is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, but my initial thought that Tsukiko might be connected to like the bigger overarching thing was when she just showed up out of the blue at the night of the party where Chandler's is like, dinner. I want to make a circus, and she just shows up, and I was like, maybe she's like connected some way.
Very mysterious and just happens to be there.
Nobody knows about it. And then like AH was there. I love how she wrote his name, because nobody remembers his like name and doesn't know how to say it. So so it's just an H with a dash. Like, I didn't realize it until way later, when I realized that the dash was like a part of his name and not a part of like the sentence structure. And I think it was just because I was breezing past it because I was like so excited to be reading or whatever. But like, it was when Celia mentioned that it felt what's her name? Tara, one of the lookalike sisters, where she mentioned, like, it said that like it felt weird saying his last name, like it didn't, like I wasn't quite sure how to pronounce it. I was like, oh, it's like it's like because nobody knows his name. I understand now. Makes sense.
But yeah, so we're in agreement on Celia.
Yes. Celia's pretty great.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, next question.
Did you like the title and does it work?
I think so, because it's mainly about the circus and everything, and the circus only opens at night, so I guess it fits, in my opinion.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I think I think it kind of gives like a kind of mystery to it. We're like, well, it's a circus at night, and then you're just like you want to know about the circus, but then you end up learning more about the people inside the circus. So like, I don't know, the title. I just liked it. I don't know. It's like it's not. It doesn't give a lot away because you have no idea what's gonna happen in this book. You know from the synopsis that two kids fall in love.
It's a love story. But between who?
Exactly. It's like a duel between two young magicians. That's initially what drew me in. I was like, ooh, magicians. And it's just like
Me too.
I was like, so where's the circus play into this? And like it was just
I
kind of
know
like,
how everything came together was really interesting.
so like I think the night like
No
the title,
spoilers.
no, none of that. I think the title kind of kept it a secret of like what the book was actually properly about, which I think is kind of an interesting way of doing things.
Yes.
Because you learn how the circus is made and thought and birthed, if you will, and it's just
Birthed.
birthed. Conceived was the initial word that I was thinking of, but I went birthed. I don't know why.
You could have said created, but okay.
Maybe. I don't know. We're gonna stick with birthed.
Birthed. Okay, the circus with birthed.
um, but it's just like you learn about like all of like the beginning parts of the circus and how it's created and made, and then like in the midst of that, you're learning about everything that's happening within the circus. So like the circus really is like the entire story, but it's kind of like how The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings are, where there's like this huge, vast backstory and everything, and you're just learning about a little snippet of a story set within the world, which is really cool and a really awesome way to write. But yeah, that's how the Night Circus is. You're just learning about the people within it this is one snippet of time within the Night Circus's massive long lifetime.
Yeah.
Just get to experience
Which is
it.
a question I have for when we get to the spoiler part for the end of the book. But
Yes. But yeah, like I like the idea that like we learn about the stories within the circus as well as about the circus in general. And so that's why I think the title fits. Yeah. How about you? Do you like the title?
Yes, I like the title because I think it describes the overall feel that you get at the end. That it is about the circus and how everything, especially with the, what's the word? I don't know.
The review. I don't I don't know.
No, not that. But the concept of dreams.
Oh yeah.
So that combined with the Night Circus and then questioning what is real, I feel like calling it the Night Circus makes you question what is the circus for real. So that's why I liked it.
It's pretty great. It's pretty good decisioning, making. Yep.
Those
Words.
were my only two questions. So
Wow. Yeah,
so
it's pretty great.
yep. Shall we? That's only 14 minutes. Should we go into the spoiler section now?
Yes. Because that will clearly drag this out way longer. Sorry,
Anyway,
if you guys read the book.
we're going to go to the spoiler section so we can actually say things. See you in 2 seconds. And we're back.
And we've returned.
So, about everything that happens, do you have any additional things to say?
Well, one of the things, one of the reasons why I wanted you to finish the book was because I wanted to tell you about this theory that I ended up conceiving at some point.
Okay.
And it was when Bailey was chasing the circus after Poppet asks him to come with them, and he misses the circus,
Yeah.
which was like, oh my god, heart-wrenching for me. I was like, no,
I know,
Bailey!
and she reveals it in like one sentence, like at the end.
Yeah.
He like goes to the tree, and then he's like, "The tents aren't there," and then it's done. It's like,
I know.
what?
Like, I finished that chapter, and I went to the next one, and I was like, wait, what? And I had to reread it. I was like,
Go back to Bailey. Go back to Bailey. What?
It's gone? Why is it gone? No, but like there's that point where like he's like taken in by those two older people. I can't remember their names. And I'm sorry, older people.
Lauren and Victor?
That one, yes, that
Maybe?
group. Yeah, it is.
And
because I remember
Elizabeth.
Victor. Yeah. But they take him and like they're about to go to that dinner party for all of the reviewer or whatever they're called. I can't say it properly because I don't know how to say it properly.
I think it's French. I don't like
It
French.
is French, so I'm just guessing. I was like, this sounds the way I've been saying it sounds French, so I'm just gonna go with it.
Yes.
But they're like going to that dinner with them and everything.
Yeah.
And they get him a suit, and he like there's like this whole big deal, and then Laura is her name. She's like, no, it needs to be gray. It needs to be dark gray or whatever. And then suddenly my thoughts went to, what if Bailey, in a weird sort of way, becomes Alexander, the AH guy? And I was like...
That's what I thought.
Because, like, he's like, and they even got me a new hat. And I was like,
That's what I thought.
It was like instantaneous.
I was like, does he have a cane?
I know. Yeah, like, it was like...
And then I was trying to remember his last name. I was like,
Yeah.
what's Bailey's last name? Does it begin with an H? What's Bailey's last name?
I don't think it does.
No, I
But,
think it's like Clark or something.
Yeah, but like, obviously Alexander has like changed his name multiple times because Celia's like, that's not his real name in the very beginning and yada yada yada. But yeah, like initially I was just like, because of how big of a deal Laura made about it being a gray suit, I was just like, what if he's Alexander and this is just because he like, and then Celia's like at the end she's like, I have to give you something of mine, and what if when she gave away the binding of the thing she gave him a little bit of her power or whatever, and like he just yeah, it was just like a huge thing, and I was like, and then it ended and I was like,
so do you think like eventually like Bailey travels back in time and like this is like
like it's like all set in motion to end up this way so that like it like always happens, like the circus always is and always will be, which would be so cool if it did.
But there's not too much evidence for that.
Yeah, exactly. That's like
So it's
that's why
like-
it's only a theory. But yeah, it was just
That'd
like,
be cool though.
oh yeah, like it was like instantaneous. It was like, what if Bailey becomes Alexander? Because like, and then like because he's like in the circus all the time, like Celia and Marco are like there but not there, whatever thing. And so what if they start to teach him things, and then he learns both of Celia and of Marco, and that's why he always ends up beating Prospero, because he has two things combined into one. And just yeah, it was just
Circles.
it was just like a
I know,
theory that just felt so wonderful.
I know. I thought the same exact thing, but I didn't like Alexander.
I know.
So I
it's
was like, but I don't want you to be Alexander.
I like you, Bailey. You're sweet and you're in love with the circus.
So,
'Cause, like,
oh, do you have go on?
like because one of the things that kind of threw me off of it was how Alexander didn't seem that seem to care at all about the circus at all.
Yeah.
It was just the backdrop for Celia and Marco's battle challenge thing. So like I don't think he really cared, but maybe he did, and he just I don't know, just yeah. But that was one of the things, was like how
Well,
Alexander.
yeah, that's why. I mean, Prospero says, you know, you always care about your students too much, but they never know. Like, he obviously has a heart, but he just doesn't show it, or he hides it with illusions.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I don't know how to feel about this dude.
I know. It's just like it's just like
Because
it's
we
a
only
theory
see what he lets us see.
exactly. It's just so, and like I just like the idea that like I want to like search the internet and see if anyone has like also thought of this and like compiled evidence that would prove that, and just like be like, yes, someone understands me. It can be possible. But yeah, that was like one of the one things that I really wanted to tell you, and it was like we need to do this because I need to talk about this. I need this to be a thing.
I
But I just
know.
thought it would be like another cool dynamic to add to like how infinite and always there the Night Circus needs to be, because the Night Circus is everlasting.
Leading into my second question. Um, so in the end, it's like it goes back to the you perspective.
hmm
What do you think that time is any time? Like our time?
I guess like it has like an internet URL on the
I
card,
know.
so
I thought that was pretty cool.
I know I was like, oh, it's like we're in modern times or something.
But then I was thinking, I don't know how popular that something like that would be nowadays.
hmm
So
Well, like
interesting.
if you think about it, like with how in love a lot of the people were with the circus, like I can imagine that like they if they had kids and they had grandkids and everything, they would just continue to pass on these stories, and then the night circus would have become this like beautiful like shining beacon, like kind of like Santa Claus, where you just get told a whole bunch of stuff and like you never really know for sure if it's real, and then you have your first Christmas or the first time
Well,
you see. Well,
if it's like a Santa Claus thing, do you think the night circus would have permeated into the culture itself? And like the now that is now would not be what is now? It would be a lot of black and white and red stuff. And magic.
magic.
But
I
with
like the
internet?
idea. I like the idea that the circus would adapt to the times, and like they're no longer wearing like beautiful gowns or whatever, but a more modernized like ensemble or whatnot.
Blue Man
But
Group?
yeah, like that would just be cool. Like the circus like moves and adapts because clearly Bailey's still alive and he inherits the circus in like 1902 or something.
19. Yep, oh 02. Yes? Yes. Yes?
Yes. Yes. So like it'd just be cool that like they're always around and they see how the world adapts and changes, and then they like make the circus more relatable to the newer ages, and like man, who doesn't love going to the circus? Okay.
I don't think I've ever gone to a circus.
Well, this is a special sort of circus.
I really want to go.
It only opens at night.
I know.
I mean that like caters to our generation.
Insomniatics? Insomniatics?
Insomniatics.
Where did that come
We're
from?
just gonna reflect on this moment. Usually I'm the one who messes up the words, and you're the one who gives me weird looks.
People who don't sleep, come over.
Come on down. We open at sunset. Yeah, like I just think like even like now the circus would still be like this because it's like it only shows up for like 3 or 4 days out of the year or whatever, and only like who knows the next time you see it. So it's like this mystical thing, like how Bailey thought of it was like it was just like this glorious thing, and then he never saw it again until he was like close to going to college because that was when they were having like the Harvard discussions and whatever.
Mhm.
And then it finally comes back, and it's like he still had all of that amazing emotion for the circus. So I feel like it would still want to be a thing because there's always going to be people who will adore shit like that. And who doesn't love magic? And acrobats. And who are on tightropes without a net at the bottom. That's terrifying.
I know, I read that. I was like, what? You crazy?
Are you nuts? And little performing kittens.
Dude, I want one of those kittens. Real bad.
Real bad. They were pretty cute. The idea of little flipping and acrobatic kittens is pretty adorable.
And redheaded twins, like conducting them. So
Right.
cute. So cute.
So done. So done. And it'll be a thing. But yeah, I like how when they describe the circus, like it feels like it's infinite. Like there's like always a billion tents everywhere, and
Yeah.
like I'm never still don't have a clear idea of the layout of the circus, and
Me neither.
I don't think she wants us to, like, the author wants us to, because like the circus is consistently changing because Marco and Celia are consistently adding tents and stuff.
Hmm.
It's like, how big is this circus? And there's like, because there's like the ice garden, and then there's the wishing tree, and then there's the hall of mirrors where there's all of the kinds of crap. And
The
she's like,
cloud maze thing.
that sounds so cool.
I want to go so bad.
I know. I want the circus to be a thing. And then there's the carousel with the moving things, and it's just like, how big is this place? And then there's like all the sideshows, like you wander down a path, and then there's like Tsukiko stuffing herself in a box.
Sweet!
Woo! And then there's the fortune teller tent, and you can have Isabel tell you how much she misses Marco. And then you can have chocolate. Well, it was like chocolate mice. Yeah. Just like, I want to go to this circus so bad.
Let's go.
It doesn't exist.
Too bad, we're going.
Like, I feel like she did a great job if she created a world where people were in love with the circus, and she managed to convey it out so that real people were as in love with the circus and had never even been there.
Yeah,
and
it never even existed.
And I want to go so bad.
Me too.
I want to experience all the things that all these people experienced, and
I mean, that goes back to the dreamlike quality. I mean, every time she described the circus, it felt much more real than how she described the outside world, because she was so detailed about everything inside.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this has to be real, right?
She can't have pulled this out of her head. She had to have some visual clues or something. It was so good, and I just want to go there so bad. I want to make a wish on the wishing tree. I want to spend hours in the ice garden. I'm sad.
Okay.
Anyway.
So how did you feel about the ending when Widget was talking to Alexander and he starts telling the story over?
I was like excited. Like
I was like, I get to start over? Okay.
Okay, we'll just go back to the beginning. I thought it was really ingenious, actually, the way, because that it felt like it tied everything together. Like the second person point of views, and like all like everything, and it just felt so good.
Felt perfect.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it was so good.
I was so excited because like I knew Widget was gonna have something to do with like the story, because like of when Pop it always says like he's so good at telling stories, yada yada yada, and I was like he's probably gonna have something to do with like writing something down about this place or something, and like I didn't expect it to turn into him just telling the story, but yeah, it was good.
And then I was like, that's why it's so good, because he's such a good storyteller. And then I was like, good job, Erin. Good job.
Erin, you know, you have a brain smart. You're good.
I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was
and
pretty.
And like during that whole conversation too is like the most you ever hear from Alexander. And everything he says is like, it's like the first time. I just thought it was so cool because it's the first time you actually see emotion from him, and he's talking to Widget, who's the one that can actually see all that.
Yeah.
I was like, this is such a perfect moment.
It's just so good, and I was just like, it kind of like with my Bailey being Alexander theory, it kind of like intrigued me because like I like the idea that if Bailey was going to be Alexander, that Alexander wanted Widget to tell him the story before handing over everything, and like it all just comes full circle, and he gets to hear the story again, and it's just like it's just like perfect. I just want Bailey to be Alexander.
I know, it would be so cool.
Just like this cool epic twist of twists, and just
But I don't know how time travel would work in this world, so
neither do I, but I want
We're gonna make it happen. Magic. Done.
Done. Sorted.
Well, do you have any more comments?
Probably tucked away somewhere in here.
Well, I was gonna say, like, we could start going over some discussion questions I found.
Ooh, discussion questions. Yeah, I think we can do that. I'm pretty sure anything that I have tucked away will come out when we're
Okay.
talking about that.
So I'll just start with number one. So the novel opens with a quote from Oscar Wilde. A dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. How is this sentiment explored in the Night Circus? Who in the novel is a dreamer, and what is their punishment for being so?
My initial thought was Herr Thiessen. It was like, well, his punishment is he dies. Whoops.
I mean, I would say Bailey.
Probably, because he.
I mean, he's the one that sees. I mean, Thiessen did too, but he's the one that sees it so clearly, and he's the one that has to finally like take it all on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Which kind of twists the magic of it, I would think.
Yeah, I think Bailey.
Because with Celia and Marco, they slaved and they had to like mentally control this whole thing 24/7, and it was like breaking them. And they were just like, "Here, kid."
Like, I think both Bailey and Herr Thiessen fit that very well because, like I said, Herr Thiessen dies, but he loved the circus so much, and he was the star of the revere, and like he's just like he always wanted to see it, and he always wanted to be there, and he created the clock for it, and it was just the Wunstram clock, just, which means dream, by the way, Wunstram.
Well, there we go. I tried to look it up, but my Kindle's like, we don't speak that language.
We don't speak Deutsch. Sorry. Yeah, like because I know what Wunstram means, and I read that, and I was like, oh my god, it's perfect. It's like beautiful. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. But yeah, I think they both fit like that idea where like they were definitely punished in some way. Like Herr Thiessen's a bit more awfully. Bailey still gets to enjoy the circus every day, and he gets to like he has to like take it on and do the things that Celia and Marco did, but he gets to still experience the circus every day.
What about Chandrish?
Oh, poor Chandrish. He was so happy.
I love him.
I know. I felt like when like Marco started to describe like how he's like started degrading and everything, it was just like, oh my gosh. No.
And I felt bad because people kept taking memories from him, and like Prospero was like whispering to him as a ghost. I was like, leave this poor dude alone.
He doesn't need this.
He's the one that started everything.
There wouldn't even be a Night Circus if it wasn't for him. Yeah, I felt so sad for Chandrish. He definitely got punished hardcore.
And then even in the end, he still didn't get all of his memories back.
Mm-mm.
He doesn't even know he killed someone.
I know, I love that part where he killed somebody and then he just like, oh.
I'm at the circus?
He hands Marco the knife and he's like, here you go. He just walks away. It's like, what? Chandrish, get back here.
That whole scene was so weird.
Yeah, I was like trying to keep up with everything, and then next thing I know, Herr Thiessen's dead. And it's just like, what?
I know, because it's like you thought something else was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because there was like Chandrish following Alexander, Marco following both of them, and then they kept going to different tents, and I was like, are they gonna? And then they mentioned Celia, but then like nothing happened, and I was like,
yeah,
what's gonna happen? And then apparently it looked like he was talking to someone, but I thought he was talking to Prospero because he couldn't
That's
see
what I thought
who he's talking to. I was like, and then when it happened, I was like,
what?
And I thought it was like the opposite of the red scarves.
Oh.
Like the blood on the black and white sand thing. I was like,
oh, imagery. Oh.
It was really bad. I had to stop for a second.
Yeah.
Just like.
Why?
But then you can't stop because it's still
It's like
going.
it's like there's things that keep happening.
And then later
Yeah.
when Celia shows up to Marco's with blood on her, I was like,
Oh my God. I was like, God.
I love you, Celia, but why? Don't try. You're just hurting yourself.
And like that part where like when she's like growing up with Prospero and everything, and like there's that part where she explains that like he used to slice open the tips of her fingertips. I still cringe at that. I'm just like, oh God, I would just hate. Nope,
I
nope,
know. Every
nope.
time like she said cut, like my teeth hurt.
Just, I think the way she wrote their childhood was really good as well. Like you really felt for Celia and Marco because like they're bound to this thing and they have no idea what it is, and you don't even know what it is, and they're just suffering through all of this crap. And like there's that line where at the end of one of the chapters where Hector's performing and he's like, oh yeah, and then like the last line is, and backstage Celia curled up in a ball and cried, and that's how the chapter ends. And I was like, oh my God.
I know. And she started when she was 6.
Yeah.
Like Margot was older.
Yeah, he was like a little bit older, yeah.
It's like, oh, so tiny.
So sad.
And she like saw her mom kill herself.
Yeah,
It's
like Celia's
ooh,
backstory is fucked
Celia.
up. I think that's why I love her so much. She just has such a great backstory.
She's just such a strong person.
She is. And it's awesome. Yeah, it's just, oh my God. That one line broke me for a bit. I was just like, I can't read this. This is gonna be awful.
Like she says that broken things can't be fixed sometimes. Like her.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's so good. It's like everything foreshadows everything, and it's just perfect. It foreshadows stuff that happened in the past, but you don't know about it yet.
I know.
It's just so well written. Like at first, I kept getting confused between like all of the character changes and everything. But at some point, it didn't even matter. Like I was just like kept reading. I was just like, I just need to get back to this storyline. 'Cause God damn it.
I know.
Like after Celia and Marco had their little tour of Chandrish's mansion, I wanted to go back to Celia and Marco every time, and I was just like, I need another Celia and Marco chapter. I need this one of these chapters.
I know, that's how I was at first too, but then like you just start loving everyone.
I know.
And then by the end you're just like relishing each word.
Like I love all of you. Like once Bailey's storyline started picking up, I was just like, I need Bailey. I need to know what's going on. Bailey.
I know, because like it's just this random kid through most of it, and you're just
Yeah.
like, why do you matter?
And then just you're gonna inherit the circus, Bailey. What? When
Oh.
Poppet said that, when she's like, you just need to, something bad's gonna happen to the circus if you don't come with us. And I'm like, what? He's from what, like North Carolina or something?
I don't
Or
remember.
something. He's from a state.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, he's from somewhere. He's from a small town. He's trying to figure out whether he's gonna go to college or he's gonna go own his farm, his parents' farm, and he's gonna save the circus. And it was like, who is this kid? That's another thought, that maybe Alexander is more involved in the circus than he actually seems to be. Is like maybe he like makes sure that Bailey finds the circus. Maybe like instead of Bailey being Alexander, he makes sure that Bailey finds the circus. Maybe.
How?
I don't know. Alexander is magical, so
I don't know. And they put such an emphasis on his sister.
yeah, Caroline.
Yeah.
She is just a
And I couldn't figure out like, and then she just like disappears after he leaves. And like he doesn't even think about his family really.
mhm.
I'm just like, should they put such an emphasis on her as a
I know.
character?
Just
Like, is she actually someone else?
That would be
Like,
cool. I just had a thought that it would be weird if we kept with the time travel kind of thought that Caroline was actually Celia's mom, and like when he tells her to go find a husband to take care of you, she finds Prospero. It's just oh, that would be weird.
so she went back in time too?
I I don't know. It would just be weird. I'm sure that's why I don't think it would fit, but the idea of it would just be kind of weird. Because like she's relying solely on finding someone to take care of her, and then with Celia's mom, she meets Hector, and Hector just basically just no, and just leaves,
Yeah.
and then Celia's mom kills herself. It's just
Yeah, it's a thing.
it's awful. Like obviously, the Caroline, Celia's mom, doesn't hold water, but it's an interesting
We don't
thought.
know her name.
This is true. That's why I initially thought that. I was like, well, I mean, Caroline starts with C. Celia's name starts with a C. It's fitting. My
What
favorite
was
line,
what was the name that Hector wanted her to have?
Miranda. I was just
I
about to
never
mention
figured that out.
Neither did I, but I love that line so much. She should have named you Miranda.
Like, the only thing I can think of is that it's just like a strength building thing.
Maybe.
Like just overcoming someone telling you you should be this.
Yeah, maybe. That would be cool, because that would explain how Celia became very snarky.
You're
Because, like, they're,
Miranda. No. I'm
fuck you, Dad.
Celia.
I like that line where like he like it was like he kept trying to call her by different names, especially Miranda, but she would only ever respond to Celia. I like that because that like foreshadows how Celia doesn't take crap from her dad or anything.
Mm-hmm.
She just kind of does her own shit. It's awesome.
It's great.
How here's another question that I just thought. When you figured out like I did you have any theories about the challenge prior to the reveal of what the challenge was exactly?
Like how they win.
Yeah.
No, I thought someone was gonna die the entire time.
Yeah, so did I.
I
Gonna die.
was like, you guys didn't figure this out yet? Like, they're being
Duh.
vague on purpose.
And like, what was your reaction to learning that Tsukiko was the previous challenger?
It didn't surprise me. I don't know. Because, like, just because she's so mysterious
Hmm.
and you didn't know her backstory, like, the fact that she was a competitor and the way that she did show up, like, it just seemed to make sense.
Yeah. Like, I love how the author revealed it because that was really cool. How Hector was like, she's folding herself into a box at your circus. It's just like, oh, Hector, you're so silly. Go be invisible.
Go be invisible.
Go over there. Like, I was definitely excited because I was like, we're gonna learn some shit about Tsukiko, and like I was really sad when we
Well,
learned
like,
the backstory.
the thing, like, when it was revealed, I was like, what happened to the other person? What did
That's
she
like
do?
initially I was like, oh my god.
What did she do? Like,
That was like it's like if someone has to die, that means fucking Tsukiko killed somebody. But then when she revealed the story of what happened, I was like, oh my god. This is so sad. This story is so sad.
I know! And it, like, ends perfectly, but
It's so sad. Like everything leads to something sad. Isabel is heartbroken and she knows it and she's known it for a long time. She just wishes that it could have just been Tsukiko's love of her life who she had a challenge, freaking walked into a flaming pillar of fire to just end it. It's just so sad. So sad.
I know.
When I read that, like when Tsukiko like said all the stuff, like when she was like my challenger is lying in a pit of ashes in like whatever in Japan, and I was like, you set somebody on fire?
I know!
Is that allowed? But then like she explained it further, and like when like I can't remember who like which one was talking because Marco and Celia talking to Tsukiko happened like all over the place, but I think it was Marco who was like, did you love your challenger? And Tsukiko was like, I loved her more than I could love anybody else, or whatever she said. And I was just like, ah! She's dead. I know she's dead. You already explained this.
I know, it's so sad.
And then she was like, she walked into a pillar of fire to end this wretched challenge. Oh my gosh! Who would do that? Wouldn't you just make it easier on yourself and do like make yourself like spontaneously combust an instant death?
Maybe she can do that.
Maybe. Like when like initially when she like said like I knew it wasn't logical because of the timeline because it hadn't hit 1940s yet, but when she like Tsukiko was like she's lying in a pit of ash in blah 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 Japan, I was like, was she part of like the nuclear bomb drops in like Hiroshima or something? Like it was like what is happening? I don't understand. like like I knew she was a part of the challenge and everything, but like I just like for some reason that was my initial thought and I was like, what timeline are you in, Jeanette? Focus. We're not even in that time. They don't even have airplanes yet. They have a magical train that travels from the United States to overseas.
I know. They never explained that, and I thought
I
that
know,
was awesome.
and I want to know about this magical, mystical train.
Oh, Celia.
Oh, that Celia. Controlling trains and crazy things.
Shall we
So
move on
good.
to another question?
Yes.
Okay. How does the following statement apply to both the circus and the competition? Which audience is more valuable? One that is complicit or one that is unknowing? Chandrish relishes reactions, genuine reactions, not mere polite applause. He often values the reactions over the show itself. A show without an audience is nothing, after all. In the response of the audience, that is where the power of performance lies.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I don't know. Like with the circus, like the whole idea with the circus was like Chandris wanted this beautiful reaction from people, but with the challenge and the competition, I don't
The
know if I would.
reaction equals death.
Yeah, like I feel like if more people know about the challenge, is like it would lead more to sadness, and there's already enough sadness in this book. Because like
So
Tara started.
So if you leave it as a mystery, as a dream, it's better?
I think so, at least with the challenge. And like the circus is kind of like a dream, like it just shows up in the middle of nowhere and like nothing precedes it. No notices that the circus is coming. It's just there all of a sudden. So it feels more like a dream. And I feel like it's more exciting when like that the audience doesn't know that the circus is going to be there and they're constantly in this anticipation for it. And it makes it like so basically an unknowing audience would be better for this kind of world, I think. That's
Or
my opinion. Or
if Celia and Marco never knew each other was the competitor and they never had the whole love thing and one of them did eventually die, then the circus would like explode and people would die.
pretty much.
So maybe they should know something.
I guess. Man, this is a hard question.
I know.
Ugh.
I mean, I think you need both, which is what
I
they
get-
had, and they
Yeah,
got the
they had-
ending that happened. So
It happened. Everything was a thing. And yes. Oh my god. Well, they would eventually have figured out who each other was at some point. There's no way they could have been secret for long.
but maybe if it was kept secret while they were still like in teenage years, then maybe it wouldn't have developed the way that it did.
Maybe. Maybe. I like the line. One of my favorite lines is when I can't remember what like happened before it, but Celia was looking at her hand and she's like, "I'm already married," and she like sees the like the ring print thing, and I was like, "Oh, it's so cute."
I know. I thought it
'Cause,
was
like-
weird that they used rings, like,
Me too.
because they didn't do that with the other.
They used a ring,
students.
but they didn't put them on their fingers, which
Yeah.
is weird. Because like Tsukiko had like a ring imprint on her back. And it was, that's a weird place to put a ring. Why not on the finger like a normal person?
I know. Alexander and Prospero are weird.
Indeed. I mean, Prospero's invisible. I mean.
here's a good one. Marco asserts that Alexander H. is a father figure to him, though his paternal instincts aren't readily noticeable. In what ways does Alexander provide for Marco? In what ways has he failed him?
Well, he gives Marco a flat. he he basically adopted him from the orphanage in order to train him. So he
gave him all this knowledge and books.
Books, so many books. Books. Like, he provided in the ways that, he gave the basic necessities. Food, shelter, and
education.
Those, he didn't provide any comfort to Marco in any way, shape, or form, but Marco didn't grow up with anything else. So to him, that is exactly what a father figure should do. You provide the basic necessities, and that's it.
Is that what Marco wanted?
Probably not. I mean...
we never really learned who Marco's parents were.
I know. It's really sad.
How did he end up in an orphanage? Did his parents kill themselves too?
What if he went all freaking exorcist something and his powers came out of nowhere and he just killed his parents?
Well, he didn't have natural power. He learned it.
True. He learned power. That's right. It would be cool, though.
Alexander gave him knowledge.
Good job, Alexander. I think maybe that's how he was a father figure. He gave Marco knowledge and, a feeling of, he could do stuff and whatever. But he didn't show any, other fatherly affections. And that's why Marco was so keen on not doing this challenge the proper way, probably. It was because he didn't like he didn't like that he wasn't getting any gratification out of it, because that's something he constantly wanted from Alexander, was, I wanted to be told that I'm doing good.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really screwed over Alexander in this whole challenge, the loophole thing that happened. Because if you hadn't done that, you're doing great, Marco. Keep up the good work. I'm going to kill her.
Yeah. Just like a little 10-year-old. Yeah, good, kill it, girl.
Kill her. Woo.
That would be just a totally different book. Psychopath kids trying to kill each other with magic.
Ugh.
In a dream circus.
And there's clear, kind of obvious ways that Alexander fails as a father figure, and the fact that he shows Marco no sort of love whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Marco is essentially just his apprentice, but then it goes back to kind of what you said, where you only see the stuff that he wants you to see. So
do you think he actually showed stuff because he felt he needed to, but then took the memories out?
Ooh, that would be cool. That would explain why Marco was
shape him.
Yeah, that would explain why Marco was so keen on constantly wanting to have Alexander's approval and yada yada yada, because
he felt like he had it somewhere.
Yeah,
at some point. Echo somewhere.
And then Alexander
couldn't find it.
Memories.
See,
that would be
that's
so
the same
sad.
thing. That's the same thing as the fingertip cutting.
Yeah, just bad. It's bad. That would be really sad, though. That's just so sad to do.
I mean, I feel like it's a very strong possibility.
It probably is.
Because by the end, he obviously cares about him.
Mm-hmm.
But
God damn it, Alexander.
So
why are you such
feels?
Alexander is just this mysterious figure who just does things that make sadness.
Oh, so what do you think happened with Tara?
She died.
I know. But do you think, he made her die?
Oh my god. I don't really know, because I never really thought of it that way. I thought that, she was seeking answers, and that, I don't know, that terrifies me.
It was the same thing. As she was looking at him, and he was talking to someone, and someone died.
Oh my god. This book. Why did we pick this one?
I don't know. Because it's good.
Apparently. Oh my god. That would be terrifying if that was true. But it would explain how everyone was just unaware of Alexander's ness
how much Alexander actually controls.
Yeah.
Which, because he is the one that actually is putting like the whole ambiance of the circus, like that's holding it all together. Like I feel like he wanted the loophole to happen,
Maybe.
but
That would be kind of
he
cool.
didn't want anyone to know it was him.
That would be kind of cool.
And he's like, "Here, my son."
I give you the love of your life.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
just like the idea that Celia succeeded in doing something her father tried to do, and that just makes me really happy. Just because
but
Hector is
as soon as Marco was like, "Do you think you could do that?" I was like, "That's what's gonna happen." God,
duh, she can do that.
God dang
She's freaking Celia Bowen. Don't question her abilities.
I kept wanting to read her name wrong. I kept wanting to read it Celia Browen. I don't know why.
Oh goodness. I was so excited when Friedrich Thiessen and Celia started their little pen pal
Being
thing, and I was
friends.
like, "Oh, they're so cute!" And that's initially when, like, the starting of how the fuck old is Thiessen?
I
What?
know. Because that was before, like, she knew Marco was Marco, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was before
So it's
that.
like, is this going to be like her love story? And then he's going to have Isabel, and then it's
That's
going to
what's
be
like.
like a
That's
thing.
initially what I thought. I was like, "Oh, so like she's gonna have Mr. Thiessen over here, and he's gonna have Isabel, and then like maybe instead of them falling in love with each other, they fall in love with Thing, and then they have to like one of them like I thought it would be cool if like they figure out about each other's life and their loves and everything, and then like they realize they have to kill one of the people, and then just ruin somebody's life. But then they fell in love with each other, so that just kind of stopped. I was like, well, okay.
Which was cute. So
Yeah, it was pretty cute. So it was cute. I loved all the moments that they had together. It was just so cute. And I just, especially after Celia figured out who Marco was and everything, it was just so cute.
I know, and he like goes to see her shows, and
I
like
know.
that one part where the chapter like repeats.
I know. I read that. I was like, wait, what happened? Did she like repeat a chapter?
I know.
Like,
I was like, huh?
this happened like 5 chapters ago. What?
And then he's like just in a different seat, but it's the same exact setting. I was like, oh,
Oh,
oh.
oh God, you're so cute. Oh my God, look is going to be the death of me. I say that about all books.
One of them will be. Don't worry.
One day, one of these books is going to kill me. It's going to just fall.
Paper cut of death.
uh, no, I knew it would be you. It's probably going to be a Rochelle Mead book. I just know it. I'm going to aggressively turn the page and just, no!
Trying to pick another question. This one seems interesting. Celia emphasizes that keeping the circus controlled is a matter of balance, and Marco suggests that the competition is not a chess game but rather a balancing of scales. However, both the circus and the competition get disordered at times, leaving both physical and emotional casualties in their wake. Is the circus ever really in balance, or is it a pendulum swinging from one extreme to the next?
Ooh, that's really cool.
I know, but I was like, well, we can just ponder that for a moment of silence.
Moment, just think about that and just I feel like it might be because like they're constantly trying to one up another because they know that the challenge is the circus and like yada yada yada. And so it's never fully in balance because it's consistently like Marco will have control at some point and because he just created a tent and then all of a sudden Celia has it and now it's all over the place and then
And
it
then
just keeps going
finally they come together and the
because they
pendulum stops.
and then it becomes a scale.
Bad.
And it's awful. Like I feel like it is because like with Celia, like because Marco had the book in the bonfire as a way to stay always connected to the circus, but Celia was doing it solely with her mind and her body and everything. So with Celia, it was always a physical like deal for her to be able to control all the stuff that she controls. With Marco, he had that like something else to take part of the magic and just hold on to it. So we never had to have the full blunt of it. And it's so bad for Celia.
It's like their relationships with their fathers.
Oh my God. Full circle. That is really cool. That is awesome. That is an awesome connection.
Okay.
That's so good. Why can't we write like this?
End of podcast. I'm gonna go just
Dang it.
destroy everything that I've ever written.
Burn everything. It's not worth it. It's just through not Carl.
Not Carl, no.
Not Carl, no. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was hoping you'd throw it far enough and it landed the Christmas tree.
Now I don't have anything. Sorry, guys.
Sorry. Carl, not Carl, are you okay? I still Carl. Yay, Carl. And his cousin, Bethesda. I don't know. I wanted to say Batilda, but
Are you okay?
I don't know. I had pizza. Pizza's good. I haven't had pizza in forever. I'm happy.
Okay, well, next question.
Okay.
All right.
We've thrown our highlighters.
Friedrich Thiessen asserts that he thinks of himself not as a writer so much as someone who provides a gateway, a tangential route for readers to the circus. He is a voice for those unable to attend the circus and suggests that the circus is bigger than itself. What role do the reviewers play in keeping the spirit of the circus alive outside of the confines of the circus tents?
Well, I guess it's kind of like how we talked about how if the circus would still be like a cool thing to go to in modern times, the reviewer kind of pass on these stories and these amazing experiences they've had to other people who've never been to them, and then those people like start dreaming and fantasizing about this like amazing circus, and then they want to go, and then they go, and then they experience it, and they enjoy it, and they have a great time, and then they just keep passing on these stories. And I feel like that's how the circus stays alive through all of the time. Yes, Brittany.
So would you say that it is a metaphor for writers in the real world?
Probably.
Okay, there we go. That
Like,
was
I like-
my answer.
I like how you're with the question initially, how I thought when you were like with the question, like Herr Thiessen was a gateway for people to experience a circus who never experienced it, and I liked how this book was our way of experiencing the circus without being able to ever experience it. So I
From
feel like
Widget, the storyteller.
Bethesda.
Green pen.
I'm posting this one on my Tumblr.
It's going on your channel.
That's right. That is the thing that's happening.
Yep. Okay. I'm not going to edit this one. I'm just going to send it to you.
Okay, cool.
Since it's the book club one and there's no real like topic. It's just talking.
Just books, man. Just books. Any other questions?
Oh, there's plenty.
Oh. Sorted. Plus, there's been too many fun things happening to edit any of this out. Like,
Nope.
not Carl is now in the wasteland of the living room.
I don't have anything.
You said, what word did you say? Insomniac, whatever?
Insomniatic.
That's what it was.
What is Hector's role in determining the final fate of the competition? He lectures Celia about remaining independent and not interfering with her partner, but ultimately, Hector largely influences the outcome of the competition. Explain this influence.
I don't know. Any thoughts?
Well, Because he's the one that led Chandris there.
All right.
Is that what they mean?
Maybe.
Because, like, after that, he kind of just, like...
Yeah, like you don't really hear from Hector much.
He's kind of just, like, there in the background.
I mean, if he hadn't tried to turn himself invisible, Celia would never thought probably that was possible.
That's very true.
So maybe that's what they mean as well. This question is just more confusing. Is trying to figure out how he shaped the ending.
I know. It was all Hector. I mean, it ended with a quote from Prospero from Shakespeare's Tempest. So
Yeah.
Which was like the best quote to end with.
The best quote.
I was like, I love you for keeping Shakespeare throughout this entire thing.
You are amazing. Hmm.
So does that mean he broke the rules?
Maybe.
But I feel like, how do you not influence, though, if you're the one teaching?
Yeah.
I feel like they're breaking their own rules. This whole competition.
It's just a table flip of annoyance.
There's
You
like
don't understand. You have to die. What? Why'd you just say that? I feel like this whole thing could have been avoided. They just told him, well, you're going to fight till one of you dies.
No, thank you.
I'm going to pass. I was so sad. Like, when we were talking about, when I was texting you, and I was, like, in the middle of, like, almost finishing the book, and you were just like, I just want them to run away together. And I was like, yeah, me too. And then, like, 2 minutes later, I read the chapter where they, like, figured out that they can't ever do that. They're bound to this challenge forever. And I was like, oh, Brittany, you need to get farther in this book.
Oh, yeah.
I just instantly became supremely sad. I was just like, no.
I know. Because, like, that's what I wanted throughout the entire thing. It wasn't a matter of who you wanted to win. It's that I want them to
be
like,
together.
Beat the system and, like, be together. But they can't.
And then, yeah, that moment, like, we were just talking about that. And I was like, I know, me too. And then, like, literally, like, my next break, I read that part. And I was like, God, no.
That was such a so sad.
It's so sad indeed. So very sad. This book is very sad. How dare you write a book like this, Erin Morgenstern.
Very good.
Found it, got it, sorted.
Okay. Tsukiko is aware of Isabel's tempering of the circus from the outset, and when Isabel worries that it is having no effect, Tsukiko suggests perhaps it is controlling the chaos within more than the chaos without. What and whose chaos is Tsukiko alluding to here?
I was really confused when Isabel like pulled out the bowler hat and there was like all the charms and everything around it, and she's like, I was trying to keep everything balanced. I'm like, what is happening right now? I was just so confused.
I know.
Like, it was just like totally threw me off from everything, and it was just like, and then when she like undid everything, I was like, Isabella, you idiot.
Well, it was interesting because she's such a background character, and the fact that she has this actual, well, does she have influence?
Was
it real? Or was it coincidence?
Oh, that would be terrifying. It's just coincidence. Like, I feel like, because Marco was teaching her how to do like simple charms and everything, and like it alludes to her to having practice, because she talks like in one of his like inner monologues he mentions that she has like a twine wrapped around her wrist or whatever, and like she uses twine a lot in all of her charms. So like it like kind of mentions that she's been practicing, and so she's been doing something, just don't know what. And then when it's like revealed that she's keeping everything in balance because she knows, because she can see in the future ish, kind of, so she knows something's gonna go out of whack at some point, and she just decides to make it happen. She's a bitch.
I know.
But I'm trying
so
to imagine.
Hard to like her.
I know, like I'd never I never
I
felt
don't
really,
dislike her, but I don't
yeah,
like her.
like I never felt connected to her because I felt she was just like a background character. She was just this extra character, an extra thing that happened in Marco's life or whatever. Like I never felt like she was that important. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I only felt remotely sad for her when like Marco started falling because I wanted Celia and Marco to be together at some point. And it was like they need to be a thing. They need to be a thing now. And like Isabel didn't cross my mind again until she was mentioned in a later chapter. I was like, oh yeah, that's still a thing. Crap.
Okay.
But like it's weird. Like I'm trying to imagine what would have happened if Isabel hadn't like broken the charm though. Like how it would have played out instead.
I
But
think,
still
I don't know. I think
it's
one of them
weird.
would have had to die.
Probably one of them would have ended up dying because yeah, the challenge would have just played out normally, I guess. What was the question again?
Perhaps it is controlling the chaos within more than the chaos without. What and whose chaos is Tsukiko alluding to here?
Um, Chaos within. It could be referring to Celia because she's like controlling the circus and she has like all of this stuff going on inside of her. Like her feelings for Marco, her father constantly pestering her, the idea that she has to do all of this circus stuff and somehow win a challenge and yada 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 and just maybe or maybe it's just referring to the challenge in general where like all of this stuff is
Maybe.
happening.
Maybe it's Chandrish.
Ooh.
That's when he breaks.
Oh, Chandra. Oh.
Okay, but the timing of it is weird because she breaks the charm and like right away hears Poppet scream.
Yeah, because it's the moment when she sees
The
Thiessen
blood.
bleeding. Yeah.
But it takes a while for the blood to move. So
Yeah.
he might have thrown the knife before she even broke the charm.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's,
I don't know. Maybe it's Poppet.
oh my God. No. Oh, Poppet. I love her.
Me too.
I just don't.
There's
I
so
just.
many feels. I feel
I
like
just.
this is just gonna end on a really sad note.
We're just gonna be crying at the end of this. Just.
Everyone's life sucks, but at least there's a circus.
Yay, circus.
uh, yeah, we kind of already answered that. Okay, here's one about Bailey. I think.
Ooh,
Okay.
yay.
Celia tells Bailey that he is not destined or chosen to be the next proprietor of the circus. He is simply in the right place at the right time and cares enough to do what needs to be done. Sometimes that's enough. In this situation, is that enough? Can the responsibility of maintaining the circus be trusted to just anyone, or unlike Celia suggests, is Bailey truly special?
Ooh.
I mean, it kind of goes back to what you're saying that maybe Alexander like influenced Bailey getting to the circus.
Yeah.
Or someone did.
Yeah. Like, it'd be cool if that were like so. Like, he was destined, but not in the way that Celia and Marco think, but in the way that he was picked because he cared enough about the circus and he was just there at the right time.
Because it was it all started with frickin' Truth or Dare.
Yeah.
Like, and the only reason he didn't pick Truth is because he doesn't like his sister. Like, there's so many factors
There is.
that played into him meeting Poppet.
Just so many things. And like it's just it's such a question that is a question and it questions things of questioning. Like I like the idea that oh God, hello. Hello microphone. You just stay there. I like the idea that Celia gave him the choice because she was forced into the challenge just like Marco was. And like I think maybe Bailey will be able to handle it better because he chose to have the circus. He like
Yeah.
chose to like I will take on this burden. I will do what must because he loves the circus that much. He felt more at home at the circus than he did anywhere else. And the only other place he felt at home was in a giant oak tree. So that's saying something.
Marco.
Cheese Marco. This guy. I just like how we both looked off like Marco's just standing there. Fucking Marco. What's great is I looked at my Conan O'Brien painting and I'm like, fucking Marco.
Yep.
Fucking just trees, man, trees. I can't not look at the painting whenever I'm looking off into the side of something. I just immediately look at Conan. Hey, what's up, Conan?
Oh, we already answered the last question.
What is the last question?
At the closing of the novel, we are left to believe that the circus is still traveling. Bailey's business card provides an email address as his contact information. How do you think the circus would fare over time? Would the circus need to evolve to suit each generation, or is it distinctive enough to transcend time?
We did kind of answer that already.
Yeah.
I like the idea that it'll keep like bits of it the same, but like certain things change. Like the food doesn't change because the food will always be delicious and just it'll fit the theme of the place. But yeah, I like the idea that it adapted and moved and like became even more of this fantastical thing as time came by because technological advances.
Do you think it would lose some of the magic though with people with like iPhones taking pictures of everything?
Ooh, maybe they ban cell phones and something.
They just collect all cell phones. They have like metal detectors at the gate, like while you stare at the clock. It's like
back up, sir. I need your phone and your keys and all your shit.
We'll keep them in little cubbies with a name tag.
Exactly. It'll be perfect. They can do it. They're magical there. Like I like the idea that like it takes on a bit of a modernization, and I like the idea that like some of the tricks will seem even more like they're not real, like how like Celia is a proper magician, but like everyone thinks that she's just using mirrors and sleight of hand and everything or misdirection. And like now with technological advances, it's even more like there are even grander things to like show that like these are even better and like I'm not using like any like tricks or anything because I am like awesome, but like I don't know, it would be cool.
Yeah. Let's just go.
Let's just go to the circus right now. I want to see a magician right now.
Chandrish is portrayed as a brilliant creative perfectionist at the beginning of the novel, yet he slowly unravels as the competition matures. Is Chandrish merely a puppet of the competition, solely used for his ability to provide a venue for the competition, or did his contributions run deeper?
I'd be really sad if he was just thrown aside after he created the venue, because it's Chandrish, and I feel so bad for him.
No.
But like he kills Thiessen, and like that is like a pinnacle moment where everything starts to get, oh my god, it's crazy.
And yeah, and you can't think that he does that of his own free will.
Yeah.
So it's
like he's consistent. Like Hector is like a ghost that haunts him and everything, and he like Hector was probably saying that it's all Alexander's fault. Alexander's doing this to you, blah blah blah, and that's why he goes and he wants to try and kill Alexander and yada yada yada. Just it's all Hector's fault. I'm blaming Hector. Maybe that's how Hector contributed to the outcome, because he decided to brainwash Chandrish and mess everything up.
Yep.
You know what? It's just Hector's fault. We're just gonna blame Hector and his invisibility.
Hector can go die.
Hector. That Hector.
Yeah.
I was really confused when like she's like planning, like it goes to the chapter where Celia's like had the funeral for Prospero, and then like she gets the like letter from AH, and she just goes upstairs. She's like, "What's this all about?" And like she's explaining like Prospero. I didn't understand at first. I was like, "Are pieces of it? What did he get mauled by a bear? Like what
I know.
happened to him?" And then I was like, "Oh, he's invisible. Got it.
Lol.
Lol, that Prospero. Huh. Getting into these crazy antics again." Oh, it just like certain bits, like because of how she described them, confused
Yeah.
me. Like it took like a bit of time for me to be like, oh, this is what happened. And I don't know, I don't think it like hindered her writing at all. It
No,
just
it
like,
was good.
yeah, it like it
You're
fit because
just
like,
just trying to figure out what actually happened because
yeah,
something
exactly,
else obviously happened.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
From the outside, the circus is full of enchantments and delights, but behind the scenes, the delicate push and pull of the competition result in some sinister events, Tara and Theson's deaths. How much is the competition at fault for these losses, and how much is it the individual's doing?
Ooh. Well, if Tara hadn't been trying to snoop around and figure out what was really going on in the circus, she wouldn't have died.
Or was it Alexander's fault?
Dun, dun, dun. Tune in next time to find out. Black screen.
Lol.
Lol. I don't know, cause like I don't feel like Thiessen would have had any fault in it, cause he just loved the circus so much, and he was just if Alexander had it fucking moved, he wouldn't have died. But I don't know. That's clearly up for debate. So
I mean, okay, how do you think the circus would be if the competition wasn't there?
ooh, I don't know. It's hard to imagine
Because
it.
because the idea was going to happen whether the competition existed or not.
Hmm.
Unless unless
Alexander
Alexander was like
like, implant this thought in his head.
erase this conversation.
I don't I don't know cuz like I don't know if it would be as um interesting because there wouldn't be a need to add new tents every like time and everything. So like
You
I
don't
think
think Chandrish would want to add new things?
well he probably would, but like I don't know. It's like it's weird cuz I don't know if he'd still want to be a part of the circus cuz he like then again this could be just the doing of like the circus just being strangers just being needed to create the circus as opposed to being needed there for like more things. But like if he just created the circus and then let it self-sustain and just went about the rest of his life, then he would have no reason to think about adding new tents. But if he was more part of it, he probably would add more stuff because it's Chandrish and he needs more awe-inspiring things and yeah. But like I feel like if Celia were still the illusionist and everything, she would still like use her magic around and create things. There just wouldn't be this constant trying to one up and make like even greater and grander things because there's no challenge and competition. Like Marco wouldn't be there, the ice garden wouldn't be there, the cloud maze wouldn't be there because those are the things he created.
Mm-hmm.
And those are cool. I really want to see the ice garden in real life because that would be amazing.
Especially in their altered state where the background is white in their world.
So pretty. I want to play in the cloud maze and I want to jump into those weird ball things
Yeah.
that don't sound like real like things. Like how I pictured them, they were like these like those little like gel things that are kind of like floating in water and like you lift them on the spoon and they kind of look like little like jello like bits. I don't know why I thought of that, but that's what I saw anytime.
Okay.
And I want to play in it really bad.
I'm gonna play in it.
I want to be a child in this world. 'Cause this world is way more fun than this world.
A lot more death.
Yes, a lot more. Way more exciting. Boop, doop, boop, 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 boop.
Well,
What time is it?
I think we pretty much covered all the questions.
That's good.
So, do you have any other thoughts?
Um, I don't think
I
so.
liked it, so.
I give it 10 out of 10. Highly recommend.
Yes.
It's really good. The writing is really good. Oh, I should mention this on the podcast so just everyone knows. I love the bits where, like, I already told you this, but I love the fact that she, like, takes these fictional quotes and makes them seem real at the beginning of all the parts and, like, as if, like, they're actual proper things she can quote. Kind of how, like, she quotes Oliver Wilde in the beginning, but then
Oscar
all the
Wilde.
parts, Oscar Wilde. Why did I say Oliver?
I don't know. Insomniatic.
um, but I like how I didn't catch on until it was like a Frederick Thiessen quote, and I was like, he's not a real person though, and like I just like that she like used like that history of the circus as like a way to introduce like certain parts, and it's just so good because like yeah, this is when I realized with this quote from Frederick, and I was like, Frederick isn't a real person. Why are you quoting him? And I just love that. I think that's a
Realize.
detail. I think that's a detail that's just really like amazing because like this
And
book kind of transcends like a normal book. You kind of feel like you're in this world and you want to be in this world and like it kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit. It makes you feel more like you're because usually those little bits are for you and like or like are real things that are like pertaining to like this reality and like it's just really good. It's just really
it
smart.
it reminded me of the scrapbook that Bailey gets on the train of all the
Yeah,
articles and stuff. And
yeah.
then in relation to Widget telling the story.
Oh, full circle.
So many things. Okay, so last thought is circles.
Circles. Even though this like primarily is in stripes, but circles.
But the stripes are in a circle because they're on a tent.
Ah, full circle. This is like me and Joey's thing now. We just like because we did that like when we had one of our YouTube videos. I think it was probably when we were recording Little Talks, our cover of it, and like we were like getting ready to record, and he said something, and then I said something, and then we were both like, full circle, and this just became a thing. It gets so great because it's an Adventure Time thing. They do that. They're like full circle. Yeah, it's good. It's great fun, and now
So
I can't stop doing it.
so circles?
Circles. Buy this book.
Yes.
Buy it. Read it. Enjoy it. Crave it. Like we
Show
crave
show
it.
the cover again.
It's
All
so
right.
pretty.
It's The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Should check it out. #1 bestseller, national
It's def-
bestseller.
it's definitely really good. It haunts and bewitches on every page. A showstopper, according to the Boston Globe. A love story for adults that feels luxuriously romantic, says the Washington Post. And Erin Morgenstern has created the circus I've always longed for. She has populated it with dueling love-struck magicians, precious kittens, hyper-elegant displays of beauty, and complicated clocks. This is a marvelous book, according to Audrey Niffenegger, author of The Time Traveler's Wife.
Oh, that was a good book.
That's a good book, so I did not know that that was her name. Audrey Niffenegger. I'm not kidding. Like, I don't think you can see it, but like, reckon that's her last name.
I can't read it.
Wait. There's too much of a glare off the book.
I can see
Book
the
is-
I can see the N. Nillenegger.
it's just,
Niffenegger.
it's just so ridiculous.
Whatever.
Like when I was reading the quote, I saw the time traveler's wife, and I was like, oh, that's the chick. And then I saw her name, and I was like, what is that? Who are you? Niffenegger. That sounds like I'm saying a bad word. That's initially when I read it. I was like, that's not gonna sound good.
Well, if we have no more thoughts, I guess we can end our first book club session.
Woo! Book club. Yay. We read stuff
Sometimes.
with Carl and Bethesda and not Carl. Not Carl, are you okay?
Green pens.
I just like, green pen! So good. So good.
Why, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Oh, I'm sleepy. It's bedtime for me.
Well, I still have stuff to do, but
I have work tomorrow.
I have school and work tomorrow.
Man, well, I have to get up at 3, so my life sucks more.
Fine, whatever.
My life sucks more. I have to get up at 3 and then go to Target.
Anyway.
Nobody wants to do that.
Anyway.
Any hoozle.
So next week we're going to be talking about Joss Whedon verse stuff. Ah! So brush up on your Buffyisms because it's going to be a lot of them.
It's going to be a lot.
I'm going to write them all down. I'm going to have a list. You sound like
you're drunk. There's got to be a lot.
I swear it.
I know my Buffyisms.
The isms of the boof.
Poof. Oh, goodness. Any hoozle. Fare thee well.
Bye.
Bye.